Hey guys, it's Malia
and Elise.
and we're here with April's Book of the Month selections.
Book of the Month is $14.99 a month, and you get to choose one book out of 5, or you can add up to 2 extra books for $9.99 each.
And these are high quality, super sturdy books, and if for some reason you don't like any of the 5 books that month, you can skip a month at any time. And if you sign up this month, you can get your first book free with the code YESPLZ, and we will put that in the description. So it's our first book this month.
So first up, we have The Girl Who Smiled Beads, A Story of War and What Comes After by Clementine Wamaria and Elizabeth Wheel.
So this one's a memoir about the Rwandan genocide. So needless to say,
It's a heavy read.
Yeah,
Heavy.
Although I will say some of the early reviews say it's inspirational, and I'm sure eventually uplifting, and definitely an important book.
Clementine Wamaria was 6 years old when her mother and father began to speak in whispers, when neighbors began to disappear, and when she heard the loud, ugly sounds her brother said were thunder. In 1994, she and her 15-year-old sister, Claire, fled the Rwandan massacre and spent the next 6 years migrating through 7 African countries searching for safety, perpetually hungry, imprisoned and abused, enduring and escaping refugee camps, finding unexpected kindness, witnessing inhuman cruelty. They did not know whether their parents were dead or alive. When Clementine was 12, she and her sister were granted refugee status in the United States. There, in Chicago, their lives diverged. Though their bond remained unbreakable, Claire, who had for so long protected and provided for Clementine, was a single mother struggling to make ends meet, while Clementine was taken in by a family who raised her as their own. She seemed to live the American dream, attending private school, taking up cheerleading, and ultimately graduating from Yale. Yet the years of being treated as less than human, of going hungry and seeing death, could not be erased. She felt at the same time 6 years old and 100 years old. In The Girl Who Smiled Beads, Clementine provokes us to look beyond the label of victim and recognize the power of the imagination to transcend even the most profound injuries and aftershocks. Devastating yet beautiful, embracingly original, it is a powerful testament to her commitment to constructing a life on her own terms.
I think this one sounds really good. I really enjoy memoirs, and I also think it's especially topical with the crisis in Syria going on at the moment.
And it's not a murder mystery.
It is not.
That's
It
my
will
favorite part.
for sure make me cry.
Yeah.
But
Still a heavy read.
I think it's gonna be worth it. Like, I feel like I'll read this one. Some of them where I'm like, this is gonna make me cry. I'm like,
Yeah.
no. But
Sounds good. What's our next book?
so this is Cersei. It's by Madeline Miller. This one has good reviews so far. People say that obviously if you're really into Greek mythology, you should read it. But if you're not into Greek mythology, you should still read it. Like, you don't have to be a mythology buff to understand what's going on.
It's also feminist, so if you're a supporter of women, you would enjoy it.
Heavy on the witchy girl power.
My fave. But it is a slow build according to bookofthemonth.com. So just know that going into it. It'll probably be a little boring at first.
In the house of Helios, sun god and the mightiest of the Titans, a daughter is born. But Cersei is a strange child, not powerful like her father, nor viciously alluring like her mother. Turning to the world of mortals for companionship, she discovers that she does possess power, the power of witchcraft, which can transform rivals into monsters and menace the gods themselves. Threatened, Zeus banishes her to a deserted island where she hones her occult craft, tames wild beasts, and crosses paths with many of the most famous figures in all of mythology, including the Minotaur, Daedalus, and his doomed son, Icarus, the murderous Medea, and of course, wily Odysseus. But there is danger, too, for a woman who stands alone, and Cersei unwittingly draws the wrath of both men and gods, ultimately finding herself pitted against one of the most terrifying and vengeful of the Olympians. To protect what she loves most, Cersei must summon all of her strength and choose, once and for all, whether she belongs with the gods she's born from or the mortals she has come to love. With unforgettably vivid characters, mesmerizing language, and page-turning suspense, Cersei is a triumph of storytelling, an intoxicating epic of family rivalry, palace intrigue, love and loss, as well as a celebration of indomitable female strength in a man's world. I think it'll be a good book to like curl up with on a rainy day and like a heated blanket and a cup of tea. And then you can wake up and burn the world down. like
As
any
feminists do.
As feminists do. Continuity error.
No one will notice. So next up we have The Oracle Year by Charles Soule.
I'm excited for this one.
Who's this guy, Malia?
So I'm excited deep in my nerdy heart because Charles Soule is a writer on several Marvel comics. He wrote for Daredevil, he wrote for She-Hulk, he's worked on some of their Star Wars comics. This is his first novel, but he's not a first-time writer.
Knowledge is power. So when an unassuming Manhattan bassist named Will Dando awakens from a dream one morning with 108 predictions about the future in his head, he rapidly finds himself the most powerful man in the world. Protecting his anonymity by calling himself the Oracle, he sets up a heavily guarded website with the help of his friend Hamza to selectively announce his revelations. In no time, global corporations are offering him millions for exclusive access, eager to profit from his prophecies. He's also making a lot of high-powered enemies, from the President of the United States and a nationally prominent televangelist to a warlord with a nuclear missile and an assassin grandmother. Legions of cyberspies are unleashed to hack the site, as it's come to be called, and the best manhunters money can buy are deployed not only to unmask the Oracle, but to take him out of the game entirely. With only a handful of people he can trust, including a beautiful journalist, it's all Will can do to simply survive, elude exposure, and protect those he loves long enough to use his knowledge to save the world. Delivering fast-paced adventure on a global scale, as well as sharp-witted satire on our concepts of power and faith, Marvel writer Charles Soule's audacious debut novel takes readers on a rollicking ride where it's impossible to predict what will happen next.
I can't get over the beautiful journalist. And like, there's so many
a cliche.
Yeah, so many reasons. Like, first of all, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Like, she was a beautiful journalist.
Superman.
Right.
Everything.
It's just like such a trope. Guys, I'm a journalist. Now watch. I'm pretty now. Like, that's every movie.
All that being said, I'll catch the movie when it comes out. I won't read the book.
And we will, again, complain about the portrayal of journalists. So we've been very positive about the book so far.
You're welcome. Stop yelling at us.
Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it, because that's about to change. What is this? What?
What is it, Malia? What's it called?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's called Our Kind of Cruelty. It's a novel by Araminta Hall. It's endorsed by Gillian Flynn, the author of Gone Girl. She said, "I loved it, right down to the utterly chilling final line. This is a love story, Mike's love story. Mike Hayes fought his way out of a brutal childhood and into a quiet, if lonely life before he met Verity Metcalf. V taught him about love, and in return, Mike has dedicated his life to making her happy. He's found the perfect home, the perfect job. He's sculpted himself into the physical ideal V has always wanted. He knows they'll be blissfully happy together. It doesn't matter that she hasn't been returning his emails or phone calls. It doesn't matter that she says she's marrying Angus. It's all just a part of the secret game they used to play. If Mike watches V closely, he'll see the signs. If he keeps track of her every move, he'll know just when to come to her rescue. A spellbinding, darkly twisted novel about desire and obsession, and the complicated lines between truth and perception. Our Kind of Cruelty introduces Araminta Hall, a chilling new voice in psychological suspense." So it's a book about a stalker.
So it's a thriller.
About a stalker.
It's another heavy read, and there's apparently an unreliable narrator. So it's kind of, that's how it reminds me of Gone Girl, where it's like you think he's a good guy and like all this is true, and then you kind of find out that like no, actually he's lying. Or he's just like delusional.
For me, for the unreliable narrator to work, you have to like the narrator, and I already hate this narrator.
Okay, last book. Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Ellie Mack was the perfect daughter. She was 15, the youngest of 3. She was beloved by her parents, friends, and teachers. She and her boyfriend made a teenage golden couple. She was days away from an idyllic post-exam summer vacation with her whole life ahead of her. And then she was gone. Now, her mother, Laurel Mack, is trying to put her life back together. It's been 10 years since her daughter disappeared, 7 years since her marriage ended, and only months since the last clue in Ellie's case was unearthed. So when she meets an unexpectedly charming man in a cafe, no one is more surprised than Laurel at how quickly their flirtation develops into something deeper. Before she knows it, she's meeting Floyd's daughters, and his youngest, Poppy, takes Laurel's breath away. Because looking at Poppy is like looking at Ellie, and now the unanswered questions she's tried so hard to put to rest begin to haunt Laurel anew. Where did Ellie go? Did she really run away from home, as the police have long suspected, or was there a more sinister reason for her disappearance? Who is Floyd really, and why does his daughter remind Laurel so viscerally of her own missing girl?
It's a maybe for me. It's more likely that I will read the Wikipedia summary, but
It's a no from me, dog.
possible I'll read it. This one, Then She Was Gone, has been compared to The Lovely Bones by readers, which also tells me that, like, Ellie probably doesn't get a happy ending. Like, probably not great. Yeah.
Okay, so what would be your top pick this
Oh
month?
man, my top pick,
Without a doubt.
very clearly, it is Cersei. I tried to, like, move it toward the camera, but then it was out of frame. Just
Not this
like-
one? Would you add this one?
I would. Yeah, it's one of those books where, like, I would want to read it, but because it is so heavy, I would, like, save it for a time when I'm in the right headspace. You know, like, you can't just sit down one day and be like, I'm gonna read a depressing book about Rwanda. You have to, like, be in, like, that sad movie mood to really read it and appreciate it, I think. It's not a bedtime read.
I would choose this one,
Cersei for sure.
and I wouldn't add any more. Just this one. But this sounds like a really good one, so that's fine.
Like, it would be worth it. It'd be okay.
Okay, so leave lots of mean comments, guys, and give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.
Your anger fuels me.
It really does.
Oh, and tell us your top pick. Did you already say that?
No, I didn't.
Tell us what you're picking. If it's not Cersei, you're wrong, but we're here to listen to you.
Yep, bye.
Bye.